And welcome to the Dark Side of Soul podcast. This is Joe.
This is Sean. How's it
And this
going?
week, it's going good. It's going good.
Yeah.
Going well. Going well.
Doing well.
Going well. We've been extremely busy with our experiences company, Zen Kimchi Experiences at zenkimchi.com, which is also part of Dark Side of Soul, darksideofsoul.com, and Soul Hike, soulhike.com.
And Walk Among the Graves, walkamonthegraves.com. No.
Have not done that yet.
No, we don't need it. That's fine. It's just too niche and it's too, we shut down in the summer. We may have to shut down a bit earlier this year too, because of the, we had the heat wave, unusual heat last week, but gone back to normal this week.
I saw a video of that snake. Tiny snake. Cute little snake.
Oh, that I saw on Soul Hike last week. Yeah.
Right, Louise, right?
Yeah, Louise and Carlos. And Adam. The other clients were Louise is at Tokebi, and
I should mention Tokebi is our highest tier Patreons on Patreon.com.
Right, and the other two clients were Adam and Sarah. Yeah. Good. We had a good hike. Beautiful day. Turned out to be great. Good meal at the end. We had sujebi and
dumplings.
It was for everyone. It was the first time they had it, so it was quite good.
Very rustic dish. It was kind of looked down upon. It still kind of is looked down upon. It's like poor people's food. Yeah, the best food is poor people's food.
Anyone who looks down on sujebi can bite me square in the hole, because sujebi is awesome. I love it.
Awesome. Yep. Especially Tuluke sujebi.
So good. Love it.
Okay. Here we go. We're sounding like delicious dish on NPR.
Yummy.
Salty balls.
But yeah, no,
sweaty balls. You sweaty balls.
We saw a snake. Yeah, the snake. I think it was a tape snake, which is a type of grass and garter snake.
It looked really friendly and cute. It's like I'm legendarily have a crazy fear of snakes, but that one was one that I would not be that scared of. I think
it was really. It was young too. It was a adolescent, and it was on the trail, and I was leading the group, and I saw it, and when I guess it felt the vibrations when I got close to it, and it freaked out. I thought it was going to shit itself. It freaked out. It was like spinning in circles. It was trying to figure out where to go, like how to get away. It was a young snake, and so it finally kind of found its way up through the rocks and everything. So we left it alone. I got close enough to get a video of it, and it was cool.
Cool. Well, we're going to talk about a few snakes today. Well, one particular snake, not the main topic, not the main subject of what we're talking about today.
Go back and listen to our snake episode, though.
Oh, good one. Now I found this one. I was doing a road trip this week for tour guests down in Andong. A new travel package we're coming up with, which is a cool. I would say classical adventure of Korea. We go down to Andong and Hwae village, and then also go down to Gyeongju, and so really see the old Korea. You could say the real Korea in some way. It's just a different aspect of Korea than you're going to get in Seoul, Busan, and Jeju. The triumvirate. For sure. We had the triumvirate. Everyone does Busan, Seoul, Busan, Jeju. Everyone does that. And I'm like, we're trying to create experiences outside of that gives you a little more flavor of the Korea that we love, I would say. Anyway, I was going down there and driving, and I was listening. I love listening to, when I'm doing these long drives, I like to listen to these university lectures. The Great Courses series, which now are on Audible. And there's one that came, I would say I call it a recent one, even though it came out in 2017 or so, on 20th century music. And I remember I took a course in college on 20th century music, and it got me into it a bit. And this is a little quite more detailed than the course I took. And there was one lesson on non-Western composers, and one of them was Korean. Isang Yun. That's who our topic is today. Had you heard of Isang Yun before?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Listen to his music. Yeah.
Okay.
Might be good to point out that It's Yoon Yi Sang. Like for
Unisung,
anyone who's
yes.
just wearing like where his surname is Yoon. Yeah, if
Right.
anyone, but he did go by Isang Yun. Yeah.
Isang Yun, yes. Major composer that was born in Korea. And even more, when I was just hearing more about his story, I'm like, oh, this is Dark Side of Soul territory. And I'm sorry, I'm late to the game on this one. I can't believe that because this is the type of music I listen to.
Mm.
And I started listening to his music and I go, oh yeah, this scratches an itch. It scratches an itch. Good stuff. And you said you've listened to a few of his works and you
Mhm.
liked it, Sean, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. I love I love compose. Well, all music's composed unless it's thrown into a computer or AI or some horseshit. But I mean, yeah, I love what's called classical music.
Yeah, I think
A lot of 20th.
the term in academics is concert music.
Yeah, well, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
because
Symphonic.
classical is a period.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that makes more sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
But I
anyway,
don't remember when I first heard his music. It's quite a while ago. Um, maybe when I was kind of deep diving into more Korean music, maybe
hmm
because
hmm
I was hating everything that's mainstream. Like I still hate everything that's mainstream. Um, so I was like, it can't all be shit. So, and that's when I found
I went
like,
through that phase too, Sean, but that I missed out on most '90s music because I was in that phase.
right. um, but yeah, that's like when I found Sanorim and Kim Kwang-sok, um, and Jayurim, which my wife
hmm
introduced to me. Um, and then yeah, and then I looked at some composers, concert composers, and yeah, and found his work. And we were saying just before we recorded there that I really like a lot of his compositions, his songs, his music because it has a very much a it's very moody,
hmm
very very moody, and it has a melancholy and a pathos to it that really fits into a lot of the like a lot of the compositions I like. German compositions actually. Wolfgang Zeller is my one of my favorite early 20th century composers,
hmm
and he composed the opening theme for the movie Vampire, which is
Ah,
what which is my favorite horror movie theme, and that's back in the early 30s. So also,
that's
yeah,
totally within the Schoenberg school. So
yeah,
much
yeah.
of
So
much of 20th century is defined by the attraction and repulsion of Arnold Schoenberg's 12 tone
right,
method.
right, yeah. So I found that Yoon definitely kind of, for me, for my ears, kind of fell into
Yeah.
that category, and I was like, yeah, I dig this. I like this a lot. Yeah,
For those of, I mean, for a lot of people who are new to that style of music, for most of the Schoenbergian, I mean, there's so many words. It's called serial music or 12 tone dissonant music. It's been called many things. For me, I started when I hear it, I think of uh, when the mothership is communicating on Close Encounters of the Third Kind at the end. Well, not that part, but it's it's going all over the
oh, right,
place.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right,
like
right, right.
that's it.
Mm.
That's it. A little bit, and a lot of horror music, horror movie music is inspired by that. I would say
Hmm.
Hans Zimmer a bit
Yep,
because it's not really something you're going to whistle to,
right,
like
yeah.
Hans Zimmer's music.
It's not exactly melodic.
No, but it does fit a part of your soul in many ways. Uh, and Isang Yun was born right at the time that he would be really into this, right at the peak of serial music, which serial music has kind of died out of the Boulez and all those guys have kind of died out because people are like, no, no, we're kind of like thumbing our noses at our audience. We should make something that maybe our audience can possibly listen to and not torture them so much. And Isang Yun is kind of in that direction as well. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about him. He was born in 1917, September 17th, over in Sancheongun, little area near seaport, southeastern seaport of Tongyang. Now, this is during the Japanese colonial period, 1910 to 1945. And there's a myth about his birth that his mother dreamed of a wounded dragon hovering over Jirisan Mountain, or whatever, and it failed to ascend to heaven. And so it was interpreted that it was an omen that Yunisang would have a significant but difficult destiny. And the image of this wounded dragon. And it actually became the central symbol of his artistic philosophy and the title of his 1977 biographical dialogue in German. That will come later. Now, he was born into an artistic family. His father is a distinguished poet, but was not really into his musical tendencies. He felt he wanted him to go, like a lot of fathers do, go to business school. So when Yoon was really Lee Sung Yoon was really influenced by the rhythms of Tongyang, by the sea, the sound of the ships the creaking, the sounds of temple bells. He began studying the violin at 13 years old and he composed his first melody at age 15. I've been trying to track down some of his earlier music and I cannot find it. But you can find a lot of his stuff online. In fact, on our website, I'm going to create a whole listening guide with links to videos of his music, so you can really get into it. Now, when he was 17, Yoon traveled to Japan to study cello, music theory, and composition at the Osaka College of Music, which I believe is the first Western music college in Asia. Think so. I'm gonna put a little. I'm gonna write that in pencil. Okay. He continued his studies in Tokyo under Tomojiro Ikunuchi, and that's where he started learning more about Western theories of music, Western music theory, counterpoint, all the stuff that Bach codified. And then the Pacific War broke out in 1941, and he was forced to return to Korea. Yoon was very committed to the independence movement. He became an independence activist, and he felt it was his moral necessity. It was more important than his art. His art was being a independence activist. It led to his arrest in 1943 by Japan, and he was subjected to torture for 2 months. And then he somehow got out, and he lived in hiding until Korea's liberation in 1945. And that from then on, he saw himself as a freedom fighter and a political activist. So a lot of his music and a lot of his works of his life has always been related to political activities and his love for Korea. After liberation, 1945, Yoon focused on cultural reconstruction. He established an orphanage in Busan, and he taught at local music schools there. Then the Korean War broke out, 1950 to 1953, and he famously refused to participate. He felt that he would fight foreign invaders, but not take part in a civil war against his own people. Quote, "I will not shoot my brothers." Traitor. No, I'm not saying that, but that was later on that bit him in the butt.
Definitely viewed as a traitor.
Yeah.
Even though very courageous thing to do back then.
True that. And that became a major theme of his life and work, because his big thing is always about Korean unity. And the tragedy of the division, and you can hear that a lot in his works. In 1955, while teaching at Seoul National University, he received the Seoul Cultural Prize which was the highest prize he could possibly get at the time. And that gave him the financial means to travel to Europe to further his studies. So in 1956, he was at the Paris Conservatoire, but he found it too conservative. They were kind of stuck in the Romantic period. Or maybe they were too neotonal. I don't know. I think he was more attracted to the Schoenberg style, the 12-tone style, 12-tone method. So he moved to West Berlin in 1957, studied under Boris Blacher and Josef Rufer. These are all disciples of Arnold Schoenberg. So he got to master the 12-tone technique, which, again, the 12-tone technique, most of the music you're used to from Bach on is based on more of a, I would say, okay, gosh, all the people like John, way more musically trained than I am. It's more of an 8-tone technique. The eight tone scale. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, that one. Um, and if you look at the piano keyboard, if you go from C to C, it's the white, playing all the white keys. Now the 12-tone method is putting in the 5 other keys. So it's playing all the white and black keys in one row. And now if you go into serial music, they say you can only use one. You have to play each one of the 12 tones before you can try it again, which makes for a really it's challenging listening. Um, so uh, so he did master the 12 technique, but he remained an outsider, and he tried to synthesize European modernism with his Korean heritage. And I think the 12-tone technique helped because it's friendlier to Asian techniques, Indian, Indonesian, and Korean, the techniques of sliding between notes and such, which is kind of hard, really hard to do with traditional uh, well-tempered clavier. It's hard to do it that way. So major works from this period are Loyang, 1962, and your favorite, Sean, Ryak. Ryak? Is that how you pronounce it? Ryak?
I'm not sure.
R-E-A-K.
Yeah, I've always just
R-E-A-K.
I just pronounce it as Riak. Yeah,
Reek. Right?
or
So
Reek.
squeak. Yeah.
What a Reek. Yeah,
1966.
yeah, that's a great. That's amazing. Yeah.
And so he would combine East Asian elements and the sound of the Singhuang mouth organ and royal shrine music. Put that
Mm.
into his music. I remember I was listening to some. He's made all these art poems, tone poems, um, and each one of them, I saw them using different instruments. Uh, the more interesting one was using the I can't say, I'm horrible with names. The Korean flute with
The ten, um, Tanjo, ten. I'm blanking
yeah,
on the flute. Tanjo.
doing that.
What with the dagum? Dagum, the side, you play from the side.
Right. I was
Dagum.
doing that with a piano accompaniment. So it was a
Oh,
little
okay.
mix of
Mm, mm.
good little mix. But I've seen that also with that and the gayagum as the accompaniment, or with a vocalist, because there's actually words, Korean lyrics to these songs.
Mhm.
Um, but his major contribution to 20th century music theory is the Hauptton technique. Literally means main tone technique, and it was built on the idea, kind of the opposite of the 12-tone method, in which is called the one-tone method, where he says that you can play the same note over and over, and it can sound different every time. And there's also stuff you can do with this one home note. You can change it with vibrato. You can do grace notes, which we do in blues and jazz a lot. Is the grace notes, the ding, 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 and glissandos, little ornaments you can do with it, doo-doo-doo-doo, like that. I'm trying to sing stuff, but you can do a lot of things with just playing around one note. And you can tell from his music. It's a lot of times it's one note, but it's played many different ways.
B.B. King was a bit of a master on that on guitar, especially
Hmm.
how he couldn't bend the strings, so he essentially perfected the vibrato vibrato on guitar. Yeah, like getting the notes to sing and sustain by just shaking them with his finger.
Exactly. It's just
Yeah,
trying to extract as much feeling as possible out of just one note, and I think
right,
it's like the Nonghyun technique in Korean music.
right. Which is one of the reasons why I'm not overly fond of a lot of electronic music or music
Mm.
that's pumped into computers. There's no feeling to it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's good. I do like a lot of electronic music, actually. Like, I'm not
Yeah, me too.
shitting on electronic
And I
music
know I
itself,
get what you
but
mean too. There are
yeah,
ways to incorporate feeling into it, but
yeah,
it's not
sure.
as. And
It's
they're
done different.
developing.
It's different.
They're developing new. They've been developing new electronic instruments that will allow you to put a lot more of this technique into.
Mm,
Rather than just pushing a key, you can do a lot of things to the key to create different effects
right.
similar to
And
that. You know.
what I'm saying is, so I'm talking a little bit more about modern uh, pop music. Like,
Yeah, well, modern pop
yeah,
music has always been kind of
yeah,
formulaic and
yeah.
lazy.
For sales.
Yeah, it's simple music. It's simple
Yeah.
music for simple people.
No, simple music's fine. I don't mind simple music.
Oh,
Doesn't bother me.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
I
I
was
don't
being
think simple's the
I was
right
being
adjective,
judgmental.
but anyway, yeah.
It's vapid. Okay, is the word.
Horseshit. That's the one. That's what I'm gonna go for. That's for Ron.
Hi, Ron. So yeah, he was reconciling the 12 tone theory with Taoist concepts of yin and yang. Try to create a unified stream of sound rather than a series of points, which is serial music is a series of points. You got to go from here to here to here to here to here to here. And he was like, no, you can do a lot more with this, be a lot more expressive, but a lot freer with your tones. So because he was really into Korean unification, he did visit North Korea. In 1963, he visited North Korea. He specifically wanted to see frescoes from the Goguryeo dynasty tombs for his artistic inspiration, but he was also trying to teach Western music to North Korea, introduce Western music to North Korea as well, which 1963, even today, well, today it's a little looser, but 1963, that's a big no-no in South Korea. So, in June 1967, the Korean Central Intelligence Agency, the KCIA, under Park Chung-hee, you can look up our 3 episode series on dictator Park Chung-hee, orchestrated a massive abduction operation targeting overseas intellectuals to weaken domestic opposition, because that is what totalitarianism does, especially right-wing totalitarianism. The first thing they do is go after the intellectuals. Remember, for those listening to in the U.S. At this moment, keep in mind the pattern of attacking all these universities by the current administration. And you see, it's a common tactic, all the way back to the founder, the Qin Shi Huangdi, the Yellow Emperor of China, killing all the intellectuals and burning all the books. It's a common tactic. So Park Chung-hee was just fitting into that mold, and he was attacking intellectuals. Isang Yun and his wife were snatched off the streets of West Berlin and transported through Bonn, which was then the capital of West Germany, and then forcibly flown back to Seoul. Park Chung-hee's military dictatorship labeled this artistic research high treason and said Isang Yun's activity in North Korea, his activity was as a foreign agent. When he arrived in Seoul, yeah, it's weird. Upon arrival in Seoul, Yoon was subjected to intense interrogation and, quote, archaic violence, which meant, another word, severe torture, meant to extract a confession. The brutality was so extreme that Yoon attempted suicide in prison, and it really broke him down. So he was in prison from 1967 to 1969. He was initially sentenced to death after following a forced confession, but it was commuted to life and then reduced to 10 years. While he was incarcerated, he continued working. He was held in an unheated cell. I think President Yoon was. They said that he was held in one too. Former President Yoon. At first, he was. And so Isang Yun's to health, physical health, and mental health deteriorated. Um, he was granted permission to compose in his cell in October 1967, and he completed several major works during this time, including the opera Butterfly Widow and Ryul for clarinet and piano. He also wrote Images in 1968, which was inspired by those Goguryeo tomb frescoes he saw in North Korea. And he did that uh, really as a big middle finger to the Park Chung-hee government. He said, "Fuck you! I'm going to still write music based on my trip to North Korea." So his imprisonment sparked a massive human rights campaign led by the international community. Excuse me. Giant, big petitions were passed around, signed. Let me find it because I found some really major people that were, yeah, notable signatories. Now, for the music nerds, Otto Klemperer was legendary conductor, survival of historical political upheaval. Mauricio Kegel, who represented the experimental music community. Georgi Ligeti, a fellow composer and advocate for artistic freedom. Karl Heinz Stockhausen, a colleague from the Darmstadt Avant-Garde. Herbert von Karajan, which he represented the highest levels of classical music establishment. And the big elephant that signed it, no, Igor Stravinsky. And really gave legitimacy to the protest. The legendary Igor Stravinsky, which I love. I love Stravinsky's such a titan. Because of this pressure, the West German government exerted some significant diplomatic pressure, citing that the kidnapping violated German sovereignty. And this pressured the South Korean government to release Yoon in February 1969, where he returned to West Berlin and said, "Oh, fuck you guys, I'm staying here," and became a German citizen in 1971. Yeah, exactly. So he chose permanent exile over life in South Korea because he did not want to return to a place where he was tortured. I mean, twice he was in prison and tortured under two different regimes, even though Park Chung-hee kind of was Japan light.
I mean, that was also a time when real censorship was really starting to kick off against artists, especially.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I want to go into that more. Sean, you should do one on a lot of the censorship of the folk scene and rock scene. We sort of touched on that before, but
we did it. Yeah, in the drug episode.
Yeah, we did that
years ago.
Yeah,
because there was a counterculture of weed smokers here, and they were all likened to North Koreans and devils and stuff. If you smoke weed, you're no better than North Koreans.
I like to just continue our series. We've touched on it a few times, but why don't we do some episodes on musicians and music. That'd be fun.
Yep.
And it would help expand my playlist because that one we did, you introduced me a lot of good stuff. So it's good.
Which one? The drug episode?
No, that was the K-pop episode. The first K-pop episode we did. Dark Side of K-pop. No, it wasn't Dark Side of K-pop.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. At the end, we did a playlist of like other alternative Korean music to listen to.
Right.
And
okay, I remember that. Oh, God,
we actually have the playlist on our website, and I think I published it on Apple Music. You can look for it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this now for over 6 years. Starting to get a bit.
The whiskey's taking a toll on our brains.
Gaps in the old memory.
Mine's like Swiss cheese. So later years, Yoon's advocacy for reunification led to, well, now he's a German citizen. He can visit North Korea anytime he wanted.
Right.
So the South just saw him as a pro-North agent. He was a spy. And there was some controversy over involving Dr. Oh Kil Nam, a South Korean economist who was also living. I think he was also living in Germany. He claimed that Yoon persuaded him and his family to defect to the north in 1985. Is more like I think that the truth behind it was Yoon said, "Hey, you should go there," and when he was there, North Korea kind of kept his family there and said, "Come back." It kept O and his family there, and O escaped without his family, and so the North was using his wife and daughters as hostages to pressure him to return. And so that was an ugly incident. And anyway, Yoon's family, even after his death, strongly contested these claims. Um, Said his involvement, that Yoon was really just being humanitarian. He intended to help the family. It's up in the air still, but they say that what you will. I mean, we have friends, we know people that are involved in North Korea, but it's not really for political reasons, or they're not trying to promote the North Korean regime. It's
No,
really
it's
for
just
humanitarian
research.
reasons. We talked about Michael Spavor, who
Right.
we did an episode on him
Well,
way back
we've
when.
had back when he was kidnapped,
Right.
or not kidnapped, but
Yeah,
well,
kidnapped. He was kidnapped.
was he kidnapped
He was
technically?
kidnapped. He was a political prisoner.
Yeah, definitely that he was. Yeah. Well, we did the episode with Jacko as well. We're talking about the North, and
Right.
so
Right.
yeah. I
So
mean, people who are
Spavor,
involved like in research and stuff. I mean, yeah, they're not
yeah.
involved with the country.
Do
They're
you remember
involved
when
with the
Michael
research.
Spavor was kidnapped during the pandemic, right around the time
Right.
of the pandemic, by China?
But even in China, yeah,
Yeah, in China.
yeah,
He worked. Michael Spavor was heavily involved with North Korea, creating a lot of cultural events, sports events. When Dennis Rodman went to North Korea, that was Michael Spavor's work, and one of our drinking buddies, one of my drinking buddy of mine, and yeah, on his way to Seoul for Christmas, yeah, was arrested in China, and imprisoned for years. Basically missed the entire pandemic. It was right before the pandemic started. Yeah, it was right before the pandemic started, and
right.
and he was kept there during the entire pandemic and released.
And not only him too. It was the other guy, Kovrig, Michael
Right,
Kovrig.
right.
Yeah,
Former Canadian diplomat.
yeah. And they're both they're both Canadian. So this was
Right,
all over the CBC and stuff when and Kovrig actually came out um, after the Canadian government as recently as didn't make a free trade agreement with China. That's been misrepresented, but thawing relations uh, to have more trade
right.
with China.
Yeah.
Can't really trust our southern neighbors at the moment. So so uh,
Yeah.
having
Well.
our sovereignty challenge and stuff like that. So Kovrig didn't like it. He's like nope. He's like fuck China. So he's not big. I don't know either of these guys. I never met either one of them. So
Oh, I haven't heard.
I don't
Michael's
know what.
still been kind of undercover since then,
Mm,
but my point is that his involvement with North Korea was really primarily humanitarian. He did not promote
right,
the regime.
right. Anyway, yeah.
Um, so you insist then, I mean, he incorporates a lot of Korean techniques, Korean suggestions. I'm sorry, suggestions of Korean music in his works. He utilized Western survival forms to address human suffering in Korean history. This is really emotional one. It's around 25 minutes, 21, 25 minutes, called Exemplum in Memoriam Gwangju, written in 1981, right after the Gwangju massacre. And it was composed to commemorate the victims of the Gwangju uprising, and it's haunting. It's in three parts. They're not three movements, but the three parts. The beginning is the protest, where the woodwinds represent the protesters, and they do. They're twittering like you just hear like their voices, almost like it
Okay.
reminds me a lot of Peter and the Wolf.
Right. Like it's like it sounds like a gathering.
You're right. Sounds like a gathering, and then the brass and percussion, including traditional Korean instruments, percussion instruments, are used to represent the military forces and the guns. And it leads into this climax of just percussion and brass and drums just firing on the protesters, and then the silence, and then the middle part is just it's just I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, just mourning. It's
Mm.
really just intensely, the harmonies in this are so intense. It's not mawkish. It really feels like Stephen Sondheim style harmonies to me. Anyway, and then it ends with the rise of democracy, which this was written in 1981, and it felt prescient. It felt like it was predicting the 1987 democracy movement. And that's how it ends. It's a great. It's not, the ending is just like it kind of feels like there's more to come, and a lot of 20th century music does that. It doesn't really have that coda at the end. It always feels like there's more coming, but it's really strong ending. So it's really that's a good one to listen to. We're gonna link to that one. Another one that I've listened to a few of these, Double Concerto for Harp and Oboe, 1977, uses the folktale The Cowherd and the Weaver, Gyeonu and Jinyo as a direct metaphor of the painful division of Korea. So you talked about this.
Mm? Yeah, it's a famous folktale.
Yeah, we
It's
talked
from
about this
it's
folktale.
the first record of it's from China, and it was disseminated into Korea. But it's a massive part of Korean folk tradition now, tale tradition. Yeah, represents the stars Vega and Altar.
Hmm.
Yeah, but especially Vega. The Weaver girls is Altar. Is Vega, the Vega star.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And his final major work, Angel in Flames, 1994, continued to focus on the resilience and tragedy of the Korean people through a lens of spiritual mourning. Um, 1995, November 3rd, Isang Yun died of pneumonia in Berlin at the age of 78. Um, his legacy was slowly reclaimed in South Korea because by then Park Chung-hee and Chun Doo-won, the dictatorship had gone, and South Korea was in a reconciliation period, trying to undo a lot of the crap from the Japanese colonization and the three asshole dictators. Uh, and so, in 2006, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission officially determined that the 1967 East Berlin affair had been overstated and manipulated for political purposes. Basically,
No,
yeah, you don't say.
really?
You don't say.
The hell you say?
Yeah. So in 2007, the South Korean government officially apologized to Lee Sung-yoon's family. We love apologies in Korea. And so he did establish music schools in Pyongyang during that time, and also the Tongyong International Music Festival, the TIMF, celebrates Yoon as a vital mediator of East Asian and Western musical traditions. It's one of the largest concert music festivals in Asia, is Tongyong. And that's it, basically. I'm going to include, so like I said, I'm going to include a listening guide on our website with at least five of his compositions. I'm going to try to do that. But yeah, be aware. Yeah, listen for Yoon's signature technique, the Hauptton, the main tone.
Not the tone low.
Not the tone loc. Listen for how the note starts, and listen often with a tiny flicker or a little grace note. The grace note would be like a little doo 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 like that. Um, and like once the note is held, just see how it moves. Just that one note. It's really trying to mimic the sound of the gayagum and the gomungo, and watch how it transforms into another note. It's like it decays or it blooms into the next one. But yeah, it can be like a lot of 20th century music can be dissonant, challenging at first. It's not, like I said, not a catchy melody to hum. It's just more of a stream of sound. Like I said, that like the mothership communicating at the end of Close Encounters. A lot of yeah. Anyway, that suite, the North Close Encounters suite, and John Williams did, and of course a lot of Debussy in that as well. But anyway, I'm just going off on that. Um, but be aware, it's going to be like thick and heavy, and then sometimes thin and fleeting. But it's always so like a flowing line. It's like a master calligrapher moving his brush across the paper. Think of it like that. So, warning, it's not easy listening, but it's one of those things. It's like the thing that's challenging to you gives you the greatest reward. And that's all I have to say about that. All right, Sean, we did it.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
stuff. Interesting
good stuff.
story. That guy, that fella.
Yeah,
And yeah, good tunes.
good tunes. Yes, I found
I
that
wonder if
learned a lot from
John,
this.
John and Gangshil are fans. I'd imagine.
John Coyle, we're talking about one of our friends and guides,
Yeah.
Buam tour.
Yeah. I do
They're
think.
they're jazz musicians and teachers.
Yeah. Piano players. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, good, interesting stuff. We'll put some
Good.
of the tunes on later tonight. I think.
I'm gonna listen more today. Yeah, I'm really enjoying. I'm really. I love it. I love it when I do research for the show, and I find my new favorite thing.
Right, right.
All right.
This will be on
Well,
your playlist nonstop for the next month.
we'll see. It's like I said, it's challenging listening sometimes, so I can't really like do it while I'm trying to focus on something.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah,
But it's good when I'm doing something. If I'm doing cooking or something, or driving in my car, or
yeah.
walking while transferring subway trains. That's what I was listening to, and I found out, no, when I was driving in the car, it's better to listen to on speakers than on headphones. I found you need that feeling of space for this music. You need some space.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. Remember, we do have the Dark Side of Soul Ghost Walk. We also have lots of other experiences if you come to Korea. We also have, if you go on our store on Dark Side of Soul, we have our comic books and Sean's book about supernatural encounters in Korea. We got a lot of other projects coming. Sean's got a big project coming up that we'll announce one day soon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Well,
got a project coming up.
well, yeah, better get on that. No, that's coming along very well. Yeah, actually, during recording here, the my partner sent me a message. I'll
Oh,
have to
great.
See what he said there.
Okay, great. Great. So lots of things are happening. Please go on and continue the conversation and join us on Patreon at patreon.com/darksideofsoul. Starting just $5 a month, you get a lot of extra content. And we're creating a lot more community. Our YouTube channel, we're creating community there. Now it's been growing because we're posting and adding more stuff regularly. And our Instagram is doing very well as well. And we also have our Facebook. Check it. Just look for Dark Side of Soul everywhere, and you can join the conversation. We both check it. So this is great, and everyone else is involved, and it's fun, very fun. So thank you for listening. Until next time, stay spooky.
Good night.